Yes, good afternoon. Welcome once again to the Wake Up Guyana show here on Kaieteur Radio. This is your host, Leonard Gildarie, and you are tuned in. We're coming to you live from our Saffron Street studio here at Kaieteur Radio, 24 Saffron Street to be exact. And we're coming to you on the 99.1 FM for Demerara and Esquibo, and 99.5 if you're in Berbice and you want to get on to us. And I know many of you are tuned in today. It's a little wet out there, so make sure that you take care if you're in the farming area and so on. Be very careful with the tractor. It is that kind of day, but it seems to be clearing up somewhat. It is becoming very humid out there, and so many things happening. People are going about doing their business. The big news today is that government has allowed, or rather given the orders which would allow other new companies to enter. We've been waiting for this more than a decade now. So it's not only GT&T now. Other companies could come in and compete against GT&T to put down landlines and other things. So it's a very, very good day as far as I'm concerned. And I would want to say that as far as the people of Guyana is concerned, however, any company that comes would have to move pretty quickly because the pandemic is upon us and we need the internet. We need fast internet. We need 5G, 6G, 7G, whatever G it is. Let it come because the people need it and we need cheap internet. That's what we need, cheap internet. So let's see what happens from there. And of course, as we speak right now, the breaking news that Deputy Chief Elections Officer Roxanne Myers, who's been accused of playing a role in the 5 months of elections crisis that we would have had, and being accused of playing a role in elections fraud, turned herself up at the Ivlery CID headquarters today with our lawyer Nigel Hughes. This would have come after news that they were looking for her. The police were looking to talk to her, and they went to her house. They was taken out of her house and GCOM, and they could not find traces of Roxanne Myers. She was said to be a very strong person that is linked with the opposition, the now opposition at that point in time, and she's been accused of playing a role, and now she is answering, or she has to answer before the investigators here. Whether she answers or not, with our lawyer present, that's another issue. We are going to continue to bring those stories to you. So it's a good day to you. It's a big day. It's a telecoms liberalization day. So we want to get things running very, very quickly because I want to open these lines as normal. There are many things to talk about. I know that the people have been complaining. Barbies is complaining, but poor electricity supply in that area there. I'm not sure what GPL is doing, but you need to say something to GPL, to the people of Guyana about why the supply has been that erratic as it is, and how soon could we have it fixed. They understand. People are complaining about low voltage as well, so it's been several hours per day. Business people are complaining about power outages here, so want to bring you up to date with that. And so let's get right down into the Kaieteur newspaper of today, October the 6th, 2020. And wherever you're joining us from, whether you're rocking in your hammock, whether you're in the kitchen, if you're lying on your bed or somewhere, or you're doing your work and the Kaieteur radio is on and you're live with us, we want to tell you that there is the largest newspaper, our sister company, and it has many news in it. And every day you could bet your bottom dollar that they're not going to be putting any kind of icing on it. How you get it, how they get it, it's how you're going to get it. And they're giving it to you very raw, very straight, without any icing on the cake, as we say. That is what Kaieteur newspaper has been doing over the years, over its 25 years, and there's no other way. And it's good to be part of a company, part of a newspaper which has been foot to foot with the Guyanese people over the years, and it has no agenda. There's not a political party that it's affiliated to. All it's doing is bringing the news to the people as it is, and its intentions are very, very clear to ensure that Guyana gets a better deal, a fair deal, and something that could put us, ensure that our children are protected as we go down the line. So the Public's Cooperation, this is today's newspaper, Tuesday edition, October the 6th. Public's Cooperation behavioral changes key to stop and spread of COVID-19. This is the CMO acting, and this is the thing. This is Dr. Narayan, and he's there. He's taken over from Dr. Shamdeo Prasad, and they play a very key role in ensuring that our nurses are in order and so on. Our doctors and everything is going good. The chief medical officer, and we have to. This is not a government fight. This story is very, very important. One of the biggest stories in the front page here, because it's telling you that the fight against COVID-19 is not about government alone. It's about our changes in the way that we look at it. We would tell you about that tragic case yesterday with the person that died, and he was a male nurse that served for years and years, over 30 years, with the Georgetown Public Hospital. Guess what? He retired, and he would have been leading the front line, or he would have been there with them, and he retired and caught COVID and he died. Tragic case. He was well loved, well respected in his field, and so this story here has a lot of it has relations in terms of that, because the way that we look at COVID-19, it doesn't matter who it is, whether you're in the medical field or not, you are likely, or there's a possibility that you could catch it if you're not careful, and so you could become infected. And so here it is that they're saying that we need to change our behavior if we're very serious about stopping the spread. And so our behavior has to do with it. If you're seated in a minibus, you're not wearing your mask, you're all over the place. Let's be very, very, very clear that we have to do whatever is necessary to protect ourselves. Even if you go into the shop and you don't have a mask or anything, take a t-shirt, wrap it around your face, wet it or something, throw some alcohol in it. You have lime alcohol, you have methylated spirit, put it on it and just go to the shop, cover your face. You need to do that. You need to protect your family, you need to protect yourself, and you need to protect this country. Guyana has power to demand that field development plans ensure evolution of local content capacities, and this is an expert saying that. And so, this is a very, very important story. If we are to continue wanting to ensure that our people of Guyana benefits, any kind of plans that we're okay in, they have to ensure that our people are benefiting, that we build our capacity, local content, and otherwise, let's make sure that we give our local contractors something, our local suppliers something. We have to do that. If you don't do that, you're wasting the time. This oil and gas that we have here is not going to benefit us. It's going to benefit the companies and the contractors that they have. They have several of them from overseas right now. So we got to be very careful in what we do, in whatever deals that we make in, ensure that our people benefits first. Our people benefit first. So the victim in Escobar Hotel mystery shooting dies. This is tragic. The story is that the two of them were at the hotel came out, two men from Escobar, and it came on the fire. Two of them ended up in hospital. One of them died. Young people. I'm not sure what happened there. Retired GPHC nurse succumbs to COVID-19. We did discuss that. Mark King is his name, and he would have retired. And so it's sad to retire, and then after all these years, and then you get caught by COVID. City cop commit to stand trial for killing mentally ill man in 2018. This is sad. Our city cops, our cops generally, got to be very careful that they do everything in accordance with the regulations that we have, the standing orders of the police force. And when you do things outside of that, you are going to pay the price. And in this particular case, the lower court, which is the magistrate court, would have found this man here. Well, there's enough evidence for you to stand trial. When they say that you're committed to the high court, in essence, what they're saying that there's enough evidence that we have found that makes a case against you, and therefore you could stand a trial before a jury. And so that's what it says. So there's several layers to the court system, and at the lower court or the magistrate court is where the city cop would have appeared. Police needs help in identify injured pet cyclists. Guyana Sor, vice chair of WHO's executive board, and we would have heard that I think former Foreign Affairs Minister Carol Rodriguez, I think she is our permanent representative now at the United Nations. This is something very good. I've had discussions or talks over the last couple of months with the former minister. She's very engaging character. I think she's going to do us well. It doesn't matter to me which political party you come from. if you could represent Guyana well, I'm going to give you my support. And she's always been very engaging, come from the community, the Amerindian community, indigenous people, and very proud person of who she is, and taking us to the world stage right now. That is the United Nations, and so representing us there as our representative there. So very good congratulations. And then we see our position on the world stage, vice chair of the WHO's executive board. I kind of like these things when I read stories. It's a feel good kind of story. Puts us on the world stage because at the end of the day, we should not be just standing still or one of the many in the room. So good day, and this is a Wake Up Guyana show, and we continue here. Suspect nabbed with firearm after shooting cop. A cop was shot, and the man has just come out of jail, and he was arrested with the gun and everything. AGM replaces local contractor with Chinese company. And this is one of the companies that would have been bidding for projects around Guyana, Chinese company here. All of a sudden, this company here is a contractor within another company, the biggest gold mining company in Guyana, sold by the Canadians to the Chinese. And here it is that they've been given the contract ahead of our locals. We're not saying that that's always it's how it's supposed to be. What is the procedure that was used? What were some of the stuff that was used that would allow this Chinese company here to come take over our jobs here? Because if you're granting them duty-free concession, a whole bunch of stuff for uh, their part of this mining project that is in Aurora, Region 7, it means that somebody's not paying attention. So our local contract has been knocked out. I understand it's Japarts. And so this is indeed a very shocking story. We'll have to continue to talk about it. We don't want you to walk into our country, and that's why we've been railing against the GT&T. Up to a day like today, the elections have come and gone. The people are faced with a pandemic, and GT&T has not come out and say what it is going to do for the people of Guyana, especially for those kids who are suffering and for those many parents who can't afford the internet. They can't afford the internet, and here it is that the government on his birthday, this is the Prime Minister of Guyana, Mark Phillips, who has charges or responsibilities for the telecom sector. He would have been saying to the people of Guyana last evening in an address to the nation that they've signed orders. This is the government has signed orders for new players to enter the industry. So it's no longer GT&T that has the monopoly. The way have been paved. We did pass the laws, but we never signed the commencement order. And so here it is now. And I'm going to welcome any company that comes here that want to give cheap internet, faster internet to our people in Guyana, especially the students who are really, really suffering, and they should come head and have solutions for the folks in the hinterland, especially. So that is it in terms of the news, what we are having here. The telecom sector has been liberalized, allowing new players to enter the market now. Everything has been paved and is already there. So the applications must come in now. GT&T, I'm hoping that they could come out and they could tell the people something, maybe that they could use the infrastructure, because whether we like it or not, it's going to take a little while. It's going to take a little while before any new companies start doing what they're doing, and for the benefits to be felt, because you have to build infrastructure, you have to get yourself regulated and so on. It's going to take months, maybe a couple of years or so before that really happens. The good thing is that we are on our way, and let me say, it's a good thing that this government has delivered this. This is an area that I felt very peeved that we wasted the last 5 years after this thing would have been passed, or after this law would have been there in and out of Parliament being considered before it was finally passed. And when it was passed, we literally dragged our foot because this company basically railroaded us and says, you need to do this, you need to do that before we could actually give up our monopoly. And in the meantime, they were taking out the money by the millions. Whether we like it or not, we have to say it as it is. So good day to our people right across this beautiful land of ours. Wake Up Guyana show with your host, Leonard Gildarie, tuned into Kaieteur Radio. And in a very short while, Raj is going to put us on to the airwaves there via the telephone. And we're going to be talking to our people on 226-7453, 226-7453, and we're going to be talking to you also via text. Do not call us on that. It's the 6222222. And we want to hear from you. We want you to tell us what is bothering you, or if nothing is bothering you and you're a happy soul, we just want to hear you say hi to the Kaieteur radio folks and to the people of Guyana. Not us so much because we just the conduit for the people's problems or whatever it is that they wish to say with regards to what affects Guyana. So all the folks who right along the West Bank there, it was Teachers' Day yesterday, and I did receive a lot of texts from good teachers right across Guyana, and you know that we're very proud of you guys. Wherever you are, we're very proud. And of course, our frontline folks, whether you are in the medical profession as a nurse or a doctor, whether you're an ambulance driver or whether you're just a cleaner, whatever it is that you're doing, we appreciate the hard work that you have been engaging in the last couple of months. And of course, don't forget our fire officers, our prison officers, and the police, and the others who've been doing such a tremendous job. Public servants, wherever you are, the folks down at NIS, a good day to the GM, a good day to Miss Diane Baxter. And how you doing there? It's been a little while since we chatted, and so we are going to continue to do that. And so it is time to say that we're ready to hear from our people. And so, Raj, do we have any call in line there already? 226-7453, 226-7453. Start letting those calls come in. Let us open out those lines. We have about 1.5 hours left, and we want to make sure that we maximize on those messages that are going to come in and those calls. Raj, as soon as you get those messages, let us put it through and let us hear. Somebody says they're watching here. Thank you very much, and let us continue here. Good day. The residents of Block D1 BAT are affected by the street lights not working. I texted you last week and you said call 226-1875. Somebody answered, took the information, promised to look into it. However, from Wednesday to now, no action. Please appeal in our behalf. Thank you very much, sir. You're the voice of the poor people. I'm not sure about that. We just, the newspaper here and the radio here that's doing it. But thank you very much for that. I'm going to reach out to Mr. Deodat Indar. You know, I found working with Mr. Indar when he was part of the private sector commission and so on. Very aggressive individual, and now he's gone across to the Ministry of Public Works there. You could get him and all the ministers, in fact, that you could get them on the thing, whether it might take a couple hours before they get back to you, but they always do reply. I'm not sure if it's because of Gildarie or because of the newspaper or the radio, but these guys are really, really on the ball, and they tell you and they advise you, all the ministers. It doesn't matter how busy they are. I want to say good day to our president, Dr. Finale, and of course to his cabinet, the rest of the ministers, all the PSs and everybody. And wherever you are, if you in the opposition leader, Joseph Harmon, how are you, sir? I hope that you guys are working, make sure that we have some new laws, new legislations, and that we're going to have a very busy Parliament. This Parliament has to be doing a lot of work. There's many things to adjust, maybe reforms, law reforms to our Constitution. Let's see what goes on there. So do we have a call online already? 226-7453. Good afternoon, caller.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie.
Good afternoon, sir.
This is Ram from West Coast over the river.
Yes, sir.
This is license for a pistol. It was $25,000, Mr. Gildarie. You could please tell me now how much you have to pay for a license?
I'm not sure whether the gun license has come down somewhat. I think that you're talking about the .32 or whether it's a 9mm.
.32 was $25,000.
I don't think it has gone down back. I think it has remained the same. I'm going to try to find out from you, though. But I know that that's what it is. I did not see any part of the budget that spoke about a lowering of those licenses on the weapons. I'm going to try to find out what it is, though.
Okay. Another thing, Mr. Gildarie, this is about 2 months now, and where the street light there opposite my home, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's about 2 months now it's not working, and the place is very dark, and I have a little shop,
Mm-hmm.
It's very dark for people to approach.
Where is this? Where is this exactly?
This is CI on the west coast of Demerara.
CI. Oh, no problem. What I'm going to do for you, like I did give you guys 226-1875, the Ministry of Public Works. They would love to hear from you guys.
226
1875.
1875.
Yes.
Yeah.
I used to
And,
call Mr. Robertson Ben when he was there. I used to torment him, so the numbers stuck in my head. So I
yeah,
think the Ministry of Public Works right there. Now you call them and say, "Look, I need to speak to somebody," and they could probably guide you to the other numbers and let us see. Maybe is it the NDC light or is it the
no,
Ministry
no,
light?
they say that it's not NDC. When you call the NDC, they say they're responsible for that.
Oh gosh, everybody is shifted. Eh? All
Yeah,
right, no problem. Call that number and let me know how that works out. Right?
yeah. And another thing, our internet here, man, this is about a month now. It's cutting off from 3 o'clock in the morning. Come on, 8 o'clock, cut off again another half an hour. Come on.
Internet does that.
Yeah, presently it's off now.
So what in essence, or what do we to conclude that they're doing load shedding or something?
Like let me say, if little rain set up to fall, right?
This is
And
wireless.
yeah, yeah, and
Which company is that?
GT&T.
Oh, GT&T. GT&T has wireless.
Uh, no, I don't think it's wireless.
It's a normal DSL line.
Yeah, DSL line, normal DSL line.
I don't know what to say to you there. They got to get that fixed, and I thank God that there's another company. Where you heard that the government has lifted it now to allow new companies to come in. This is a very big deal.
Yeah,
Let me
man.
tell you, if we could get this into this country, you would not believe how business is going to do well. There's a lot of things that the hinges on fast internet. You could see a lot of businesses are going to come, and then with your children and everything. There's so many things that could happen because of this internet. School is going to start in a little while for the secondary schools, and so we got to be looking out for that.
Yeah, but then they said that the taxes and and the license drop. I
Some
know
license, like the Hawks's license, a couple other license. I did not see the one with the firearm, but I would have to find out whether this is indeed the
because when the
case.
farmer government was in, we used to pay when the PPP was in, we used to pay 5,000, right?
Right, it went
And
straight
and
to twenty five
and
thousand.
then that guy raised it straight to 25,000. So I said that
Oh,
that is really high, man. I don't know if you can drop it, you know.
yes, yes. I'm gonna try to find out what it is that they
Uh,
have done there. All right.
yeah, and you can give us a feedback, right?
God bless you. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
Bye bye. And so, all the way from St. Cuthbert's Mission there in the Mahaika Maikoni River area there, and the folks there are saying all is lucky. I'm not sure what is. Good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie. All is lucky in at St. Cuthbert Village. I'm not sure what me by lucky. Keep up the good work, but I want to say good day to Kimberly Simon there, and she's sending us greetings. And so, a good day to you folks. I know that St. Cuthbert's is somebody, so a place that is very, very close to, I think, the leader of the Liberty and Justice Party. I think it's Lennox Schumann there. And so the folks would be listening to us day in, day out. They always keep sending us texts, and they always keep saying hello. So let us see some other thing before we go back straight to the line. Let's see what our people are saying. Um, okay, yes, and somebody took the information. All right, so the people from BAT, Block D1, BAT, they're saying that they want the ministry to look into those street lights there. Could you do that? And could you also call them back, that person that sent me the text, to call them back to follow up on them? Don't allow the pressure to go down. If you know you find somebody who's responsible for doing what they're supposed to be doing for you, call them every single day. Say, look, I talked to you yesterday, I'm calling you back today just to remind you. Then you call them back again tomorrow. Yes, I'm overboard there a little, but you have the picture. Do not allow them to just get away or give them a little freedom. They're going to forget. They have other more important things to do. At least this is what they tell you. Good afternoon. Why does the students have to photocopy the CXC results and carry to Queen's College to stamp? I'm not sure what it is. They need, maybe they're supposed to issue a certificate. Maybe this is an interim something. I'm gonna have to find out this why it is that they do that. Maybe nobody's working. They're supposed to issue a kind of slip or something like that, and maybe they have not been able to do that. So the CXC results, and they got to take it to Queen's College to stamp. I'm gonna find out about this. I'm not sure what's happening there. Raj, do we have some more callers on the line there? Yes, good afternoon, caller. You on the air? Go right ahead. Yes, good afternoon, caller. You on the air? Good afternoon, caller. I think we would have lost that. Good afternoon. Is it pineapple, ginger, and lemon that you're drinking? Well, I had some ginger. I'm drinking a lot of lime. I'm drinking a lot of things that I'm drinking my vitamin C. I'm drinking men's ones a day, a whole bunch of stuff I'm drinking. So I'm eating healthy, a lot of vegetables. Eat your vegetables, eat your boro, eat your bhaji. When the last time you had some soup, some meta, fry fish, and you throw it in, and you put some. You don't need a whole bunch of money to cook something that is healthy for you. You could just get some bhaji, just put it up together, eat some little with the rice and so on. But bhaji very important. Some people say kalalu, some people say pak choy. Depends what it's all in one and the same for me. Tastes very very good. So let me see what these people are saying here. Hi, when will you be reaching out to me? This is I'm not sure. This is a flooded yard. Somebody sent. Where is it that's flooded? Somebody need to tell us where it's flooded. I think there's some rains. I'm not sure that much rain fell, but somebody yard is flooded. Hi, good afternoon to all you wonderful people at the Kaieteur Radio. We'd like to know what's happening with the water and electricity bill. It keep going up and up also. We're still paying too much VAT and grocery in our country. Well, a lot of people would have been raising this issue here. Let me tell you very, very clearly that the people that a lot of the supermarkets and the shops are the ones that benefited tremendously from this. Some private hospitals also, persons who would have been supplying things, and so they have been benefiting tremendously. Shop people made a ton of money during this time. Everything, something goes up, they don't lose. They just send up the prices, and that's it at the end of the day. You have to pay for it, or people have to pay for it, and that's why GRA has to start stepping down. 3 hours of rain, this person is saying, and the yard is flooded. I'm not sure where this is. Wherever you could tell me, it's good. Good afternoon, Gildarie. I'm listening to your program. Referring to the street lights at Bushlota, West Coast, Berbice is out of order for the past 5 months. Made several complaints to the NDC, which said it's not their responsibility. Could you share this information for us here? Yes, 2261875 if it's not the NDC. 2261875. That's the Ministry of Public Works. Call them, tell them that you received this number from us and you want to know where you can make a complaint for the street lights to be fixed. Maybe they could go up there and do that. But they have a maintenance program with these street lights. So it's supposed to get it. You're supposed to be able to call them. 2261875. Hi, Gildarie. Somebody sent me a post on MSN that says in the new housing ministry will make available house lots for or less than $100,000. Is it true? Could this be true? What the ministry says, I think Central Housing and Planning and the ministry said in some cases we're going to try to subsidize some lands. It might not be all over the place, but it could come as low as that. So let us see what happens as they come out and they unroll these programs here. We're going to be right there up on in their face to make sure that we report these issues because people are very this is something that's very close to the heart. We have about 50,000, maybe 60,000 plus applications on file for house lots, and everybody is looking forward to that. You know, we have 30, 40,000 Venezuelans here also. We have many Guyanese would have returned from overseas. They're looking for lands, and there's a lot of applications in. The ministry says that they're dealing with persons who would have been in the system a little longer. As normal, that's expected. You work backwards from there. But they're searching for lands. I know that Minister Susan Rodriguez, a good day to you, my lady. And she is the minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, Susan Rodriguez. She's been surveying in a number of lands across the nation. And I did send her a message from somebody who complained about Prospect, the new housing scheme there, about the infrastructure, about the bad roads and everything. And she sent back a message and say, could you get a number for this person for me? I need to go there. So those are the kind of things that I'm liking, I'm seeing, and I want to say I hope that this continues, the momentum continues. Um, and somebody's asking here, how about government reducing the fuel price? I think there was a drop by by Guy Oil recently from 165 per liter to 155 or something. That's a small thing, but you got to remember everything is being directed by the overseas the world prices. However, our taxes, our big taxes that we collected is up to almost 50% on the price of fuel that we buy in from overseas. We slap a tax about 50% taxes on it. I think it's duty. I think it's a duty or some other tax that they put in it. And so whatever it is, you have to end up paying that. So if there's any lowering of the price, what the government does is just slash the taxes, and so it's passed on to the people. And this is something we should always think about. It's not to collect money. The one of the best way to collect money is not to put taxes on the people, but to make sure that you give them more money in the pocket, and they're going to spend it. They're going to go to the rum shop. Well, I'm not saying for you to go to the rum shop and drink. They're going to go to the malls. They are going to go to the shops. They are going to do so many things. They're going to buy greens. They're going to buy clothes. They're going to do many things. They're going to travel. So the money spins out and ends up back into the system. That's what we need to do instead of putting more and more taxes onto the people. So let's see what happens as we increase our oil production. Let us hope that the money filters to the people, because that's what you need. You need more money coming to the pensioners and so on. And for a long time, I didn't hear the pensioners calling. You guys are calling. I think you guys have gotten a number there now to call the NIS. But I still miss you. You should be calling us and let us know how you're making out whether NIS is addressing this issue here, or the issues that you would have been complaining about late processing or delayed processing of your applications for pension and other benefits, or other issues that you're having. 6400 64, or that's 6400639 That's NIS. Let me go back there one more time. 6400639. And so in the meantime, CARICOM General Insurance Company, and a better value for better protection. Get your ship and cargo covered with us today. CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. at 121 Regent and Arnock Street. To better serve you, you can now purchase your insurance online from the comfort of your home. 225-1787 or 269-0020. 225-1787 or 269-0020. CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. And so in the meantime, Raj, do we have any callers coming in our line here? There's no caller. Everybody's sleeping today. I'm not sure where the folks. We want to hear from you guys. What are you doing? So in the meantime, let me read some messages that's coming in from our people. Yes, let me see here. Good afternoon. I have a question. Why is it that the Attorney General threatening the nurses to lock them up? Everybody has a right to protest. This is not legal. Okay, let me take a shot at this and tell you what I understand based on the story that's coming out. Nurses, fire officers, prison officers. Could you imagine if the prison officer decided to strike one day? You know, he said, let's all walk out that prison and go to Georgetown and stand in front of the Ministry of the Presidency from the Luzaknan prison there and leave the prison in charge of themselves. What do you think can happen? Nurses, if the nurses walk away from the hospital and end up in front of the office of the president on shift, Chandapal Drive, what do you believe would happen? And so it's the same thing with the fire officers. The fire officers say, well, today there's a fire burning across the river there. I'm not going. So there is something in the law that says that because you're a frontline worker, you're a critical worker, you're essential worker, that you cannot do certain things. That there's a method, there's a measure in which you would hit the table if there's a negotiation or if you have demands for something that you want. So the police and everybody just can't strike just like that. There's means in which they could tackle this situation as they come. So in the particular case, I think the Attorney General, while on some might be viewing it as threatening, the Attorney General was very, very clear. If you strike, we have the possibility under the laws to take the necessary thing to take actions against you, because you're not supposed to do that. It's a breach. And so he's saying that there's a couple of things that the government are considering, because if you walk away from the hospital where patients are badly in need of treatment or care, and something happens, who's liable? Is it the Attorney General or the nurses? So there's something that we need to look after there. So at the end of the day, your license and everything is on the whole. You're given a license to operate as a medical professional, and so if you don't adhere to those different conditions that you granted, under which you were granted those license, you could very well end up finding yourself on the wrong side of the law. And that is what the minister is saying. The Minister of Legal Affairs, the Attorney General, and Anand is saying very, very clear. There's repercussions if you do that, because you are a frontline essential workers. I hope that would have answered the question. That's a layman's take on things there from Leonard Gildarie. Thank you very much for the information with the street light. Could you please share a number for the Ministry of Housing or Public Works with us? Our street here is almost impossible for years, but no one is taking out or looking out for a problem. Well, let me tell you how you could do this. This is Bushlat. You need to start talking to your NDC or the RDC. There's a Region 5. You don't need the ministry to look after this. They have to, this is how the thing works if you don't know how it works. There's the NDC in your area, whoever is in charge of that NDC there. Then there's also the Regional Democratic Council. So it's a neighborhood democratic council which is involved or part of a community, and then there's the Regional Democratic Council, whole Region 5, BAT is in Region 5. So what you do, you go to them because you have representatives there, and that's why they serve a very important function. However, over the years, they have become very lackadaisical and they don't understand. I think they've lost in their own way, and we need to put some holler in them or whatever it is that you do to let them understand that they have a lot of power and they have a lot of responsibility. So you go to the NDC in that area there and you make an application and you write them a letter and you write to the ministry, whoever ministry, Ministry of Local Government, if it's Nigel Darmlal or Public Works, whoever it is, and you copy the letter to them and you say, look, I'd like to make an application for my street to be done. So when at the end of the year, when they're planning for get the budget and so they said we got to do the street this year or whatever it is, that's how it's done. So you could also do that at the RDC level, and the RDC could also look into it. So these are things that as a powers of citizen. We have our citizens in Guyana. They must understand that they have a lot of power. When you put somebody in the office here, you have a right to tell them what you feel in a respectful manner, of course, about their performance. You have a right to demand that they do a little better. That's your right. You could write in the newspaper, you could go on radio, you could go on social media, and you could complain. You have that right to do that because if you feel something is wrong, that they're not, they're fulfilling their mandates, it is, you have that right to do that. So there's a call online there, Raj. Yes, good afternoon, caller, you're on the air. Yes, good afternoon, caller, you're on the air. Hello.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Could you lower your volume on your radio, please?
Yes, I'm calling concern this NIS.
Yes, sir.
This NIS, the minimum pension, is so very low, 30 something $1,000 a month.
How much?
So 30 something thousand, that's the minimum pension.
Uh-huh.
Yes. When a man reach pensionable age, is only was 60 he had before he become a pensioner.
Mm-hmm.
Only the NIS does cover.
Mm-hmm.
Good. When a man meets 60, he start get heart problems. He start get blood pressure. He start get diabetes. He start get hospital. He get arthritis. And 30, this 30,000 something, what for this minimum pension?
Where the money coming from?
NIS.
No, wait, all right, good. And I'm probably going to explain in a little while what is happening with NIS. NIS got a severe problem there. And I don't have all the figures in hand, but I'm going to explain to you. But it is something, I understand what you're saying there because, you work hard your whole life. And when you see the kind of money that you're getting there, it's unbelievable.
Yes, man. But why we can, if it's a point something percent from this I'll thing we can get, put them in NIS every time you collect something there, point something.
NIS has money, but you know what is happening? Let me give you, and maybe when you're off here, where you calling from, a landline?
No, a cell phone, no problem. You talk.
All right. NIS got a severe problem, like GRA and the city council. Three of them could be put in one boat. Like for example, NIS, they got a whole bunch of self-employed people, and they have money. Their revenues. They depend on revenues to run them. Meaning that whatever you pay, those are where you consider the revenues. Now it isn't that NIS is broke. They have monies, but for long term, what do you find happening now? They're paying out more than what they're taking in. So if that happens somewhere along the line, you're going to start going into the monies that you've saved because you can't pay the expenses. People are claiming for spectacles. People are getting death benefits. People are going to the hospitals and things like that. So at the end of the day, if you're receiving less than what you're paying out, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have a deficit problem in a very short while, and that is a problem. And now, here the issue is many employers are not paying. They had a big bunch of money that Gaisuko used to pay over the year. When you take Gaisuko and you close four estates, that's right away. NIS was hard hit by that. When you have security companies who would have been or who was supposed to be paying and are not paying, when you have a lot of self-employed people who was supposed to, or who is supposed to be paying and they're not paying anymore for whatever reason, whether they like the money in the pocket or whether they decide, some reason, or they're making money this month. But at the end of the day, the problem that NIS and GRA and the rest of them they got is that they're not collecting the money. They're not going actively. Maybe one, two of them who are supposed to go actively. The inspectors go and they collect some money, put somebody under the table, and you and I know what we're talking about. If you're an
I
employer,
agree. I agree
so
with you.
these are the issues that we have. Now, to come to the oil issue, you did raise the issue about the oil issue. Well, how do you take the money and put it in the NIS? Why don't you take it and put it maybe to pay pensioners in the old age pension? So you have these issues that government is grappling with, and the money that is very limited. They are 175. I think it's about 150 million US dollars we have so far. It's going to increase as we increase the production out on the field here, the amount of taxes and the amount of our stake, our part of whatever they're collecting. But where do you put this money? And so it has to be done in a very even way. But we have a lot of money there. Had we been able to collect all the monies that or we could have been promised what would have been our fair share from that oil, we could have been in a better position. But at the end of the day, you know, it is. I hear what you're saying there, and I understand your pain.
Yes, ma'am. But listen, if a man got to pay NIS for 40 odd years, but he been in a low paying job, and then he got to continue with a low paying pension, minimum pension, that can't be fair to me.
Right, and so maybe some workplace got to start looking at if there's another way that if a worker, like for me, for instance, and I think you guys are on here, many people overseas listening and looking at what we're doing here. I think you should have some kind of separate kind of scheme in which you could say, look, instead of me paying a $500 a month to NIS, could I pay $1,500? So you need to have an option that because down your line, people haven't been thinking about pension seriously. It's only now you see a big set of awareness is happening. People start really worrying about pension because this whole COVID thing has hit them so hard. We are in a bad place at the moment. So I understand what you're saying
Our
there.
pensioners suffering.
I know, I can
All,
tell you about it.
all the sickness raised now. You
Yes.
hardly, and you got to set a thief just as you come out of the post office. You got to set a young man rob the pensioners. There's another issue.
Which area is this?
Albion.
Albion. The commander there. Did you guys raise this issue with the police?
No, never.
All right, what I'm gonna suggest that you do, you guys need to visit the police station, or even if you get a chance, you go visit the commander in that area there. I'm gonna try to find a number for the commander and probably give it out because they're not afraid to give out these numbers there. In fact, they've been sharing it. So you guys could engage the commanders and so. The commanders want to hear from you guys. So let's see how we could do that.
Yeah, thank you.
God bless you. So in the meantime, every time I hear stories like that, it really gets me a little upset because our senior citizens, we really punished as a people over the years. Trying hopefully that we could get to a place where our people could live a decent life, a life that is manageable. And when you hear the stories of our senior citizens for one reason or the other, but it comes back to our discipline too. When we work in, ensure that maybe it was not enough education was being done, but we need to educate our people about paying the taxes, paying your not so much taxes. I'm not going to talk about that. That's another thing for the exports, but definitely paying NIS is a very, very critical thing. Even if you're self-employed and you're paying, just pay something because at the end of the day, when you retire, you are gonna get something, whether it's 30,000, whether it's 40,000, whether it's 25, whatever it is. I think the least what the man says he could get is 30 something thousand, and that's what he's getting. But you could also be eligible for a little old age pension, which is another $25,000. So if you get a little $50,000 and you clear it, you get a little NIS and you get a little old age, and whatever else is going to be in the kitty jar somewhere along the line as the government looks to boost those benefits to our senior citizens, including that would be VAT off your light and electricity. You should also be benefiting from, you don't have to pay water and light eventually. And if good internet comes, maybe there's a reduction that you guys could talk to your children abroad. These are all things that we could start looking at, maybe some initiatives that could be taken by the government as we go forward. We are thinking aloud here. I'm not the financial expert, but talking to the experts over time, you would learn some things, and I could only share it with you as we go forward. So very quickly, this is from New York now. He keeps saying he's a wild horse and you need to calm yourself down, but people have to work under circumstances. You have to treat your workers with respect, and this is coming here. Um, uh, somebody's criticizing the attorney general for threatening to lock up the nurses. Everybody has a right to protest. This is not legal. But no, this person is saying that you got to be a little more respectful. They're taking the knock on the attorney general there, and of course we would have seen yesterday our Home Affairs Minister would have been taking some criticisms there for being a little too soft, maybe not taking decisions with regards to those West Demerara protesters who would have blocked the roads, and they needed some very strong messages. Here, hi, I'm from Haslington on the east coast of Demerara. We're not getting water. The pressure is very, very low. Haslington, how are you guys doing? I'm going to send this again. I think somebody did complain there recently. I'm going to send this to the minister. And is there any specific part of Haslington? I know there's some areas east, west, north, south. You got to be very specific, or it's all Haslington. So wherever you are, let me know how that's happening. Get us some information there. We also hear in homes with more than one family will not be receiving this cash grant. They're saying that they would have to come and investigate you before you get the money. I'm telling you this will cause havoc in the country. We got to be very, very clear about something here. Everybody needs money. This COVID-19 pandemic, as well the last couple months before there was a new government that was sworn in, it was a very brutal time for people. But you cannot just pick up yourself and say, "Let me go into the area across." Maybe Tushan at the back there, have absolutely no idea, and then says, "Could you guys come gather in front of me to do for us to give out this 25,000?" It would be madness. You're gonna get people who are gonna be abusing that system, and you're gonna have people who are not supposed to be getting. So what you would want to do, there's gonna be people who going to take advantage of this. Let me start with that first. The second thing is there has to be a mechanism in which you are going to be benefited. I'm a little worried about paying cash to people because of the control mechanisms that the authorities would have to put into place. When you got a lot of cash there, hands pass and all kind of things could happen. But you should not expect that because you come and say that you need the money, they need to investigate, especially if you're living in a home. They would have to come where you live and where you cooking. All you are cooking in one pot. Do you live upstairs? Do you live downstairs? Those are the kind of questions, and they could be able to make a right thing. This is where it comes back to the NDC now and the functions of the NDC. In every area, if you're worth your salt and you're supposed to be doing your job as NDC, the folks there are supposed to know everybody who live in the area. They're supposed to know where Gildarie lives. They're supposed to know how much car he drives. They're supposed to know who's his next door neighbor and things like that. So when the people come, they're gonna say, yes, in this particular street, I know 20 families living there. Gildarie and his son-in-law and his daughter-in-law and everybody is living there. So those are the kind of things that the NDC is supposed to be knowing. If they don't know it, then we need to fix those situations as we go forward as a nation. The NDC has to take a different role in terms of more responsibility, and they have to build their capacity there. So I'm sure that I hope that I would have been able to answer your question. Today, somebody says, I had $500, $500 and 11 cents credit. I spoke for 3 minutes, 51 seconds, 231 seconds. My new credit is now $264.74. So I exhausted $235.35, $235.35. So the cost per minute is $61. Thank you very much for calculating that. So that gives you a very clear idea. If you call in local, the cost that they're charging you is $61 per minute. This is unbelievable, unbelievable. Good afternoon. Prison officers don't have risk allowance, but they can't walk off or strike. The government can take that into consideration. Yes, it is, and these are issues that we'd have to deal with when you have responsibility. Like for me, we are responsible to the people of Guyana. I couldn't just walk off the show and just leave it just like that. I've taken a responsibility, a commitment to the people. I have a mandate. That's a mandate that the prison officers, the fire service people, the police, the nurses, and the doctors. Like I hear one hospital. Somebody complained to me over the weekend that one hospital has decided to protect itself. It has sent out a memo to its staffers that I'm not sure if this is a direct contradiction or a breach of the oath that you would take when you're issued with a doctor's license, when you become a doctor or a medical worker or so. You have to take an oath to make sure that you care, you do the care for the people. And this private hospital here sent out a a circular to its staffers stating that under no circumstances is this hospital to take any respiratory cases. So if they come, you tell them right away, we can't look at you, send them, refer them to another hospital. We're not going to look at them. And I'm not sure that might be a breach. Maybe if you have some doctors and nurses here, let me hear some thoughts as to what you're thinking. I haven't been able to find out. I don't remember that. But it is what it is. And so that is some of the things that our businesses are doing to take care of themselves, to protect themselves. Good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie. We have streetlights on the railway embankment, but not working in the Felicity area. The thieves there out there every night robbing people. Can you ask somebody from GPL to help us? Thank you very much. I think you guys, I'm going to give you the number again, 226-1875, 226-1875. This is the Ministry of Public Works. Call them and tell them about where this area is, and let them see whether they could do something there. The ministers them are going around the place right now too, and they've been delivering water and lights and so on. Very quickly. I think they were in the canal area at the back there, and they would have delivered some water, some water to the people in the canal. I think it's canal number 2 area at the back there. Several homes that would have been on the conservancy area there. They ran pipes of this because people complained and said, look, all we need is a couple of pipe, lay some pipeline and let's get some connection. And so people would have gotten water there for the first time in years. So we need to probably take some initiative. It could be very small gestures, very small decisions that could be taken at the ministerial level. While they don't have all the money right now, we have to ensure that we take some initiative that could probably ease the plight of the people. Somebody, I think Gina is saying that database information should be updated as to how many people live in a house and families. The information is crucial, especially when it comes to voting as well. You're right, and you're talking here, what Gina is talking about there, this is one of our viewers, listeners from overseas. What she's talking about here, we have to do a census in this country here. If you're not part of the census, and this is why census is important. The census is the head count, in essence, of every community. They will go to every house. How much persons you have living there? So it's Leonard, it's Raj, it's Glenlal, and they make a count, and you have 3 children, and they're all going to school. So they would have that in a database there. So when they go back in the area, they would have a ballpark figure. Some new people are going to move in. There's going to be some squatters or so. But they're going to have a clear idea. In this particular street, we have so much persons. Let's multiply it by 25,000. We have an idea. It's 19th Street. We could have a ballpark figure as to how much money they would have to spend. So it is at the end of the day some scientific ways in how we could solve the problems that we have in Guyana. Good afternoon, caller. We do have a caller on the line. Yes, good afternoon, caller. How are you doing? Yes, I think we lost that. Yes, in the meantime, let's go back and read those things. But to come back to it, this government needs to start financing some census across this country as to see what was the really true number of persons that we have so we could be able to plan better. And had we had a functioning NDC, had we had the RDCs working like they should, and we would have had the census, it would have had a very clear idea as to how much money we're spending and who live where and what they're given, except if there's some squatting and so on. We know how to deal with squatting. If you're not in the system, we're going to have to vet you a little more. So there's a call online right now. Yes, good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
I quiet. Good afternoon, Gildarie,
Yes, sir.
everybody over at Kaieteur News. Now, it's a while I ain't call and I know the guys are looking over at everything. I live at one. I live in Parfait Harmony, right? And what I noticed since the government changed, this water pressure dropped. Even Saturday and Sunday, this water extremely low. Secondly,
What's the area exactly that you live in there?
I live in Schooner.
Schoonard. So Schoonard is where you're feeling it.
Yes, and it's actually straight over to Parfait because Schooner is up and you got down at the back. And one thing is that I ain't looking at no particular side, but it's foolishness that since the government changed, this water pressure dropped. Before, it dropped and I wanted to know if it was a sabotage upon the other end. But I don't understand now how there's a change of government and the water drop. When we need water, especially when we got to do frequently washing and cleaning and whatever water require. And this water dropping since 5 in the morning. I personally don't have money to go and buy 2 tanks. And it got me thinking if this thing is a friend get a tank sell. Because one of the things that I'm troubled about is that when Yog was about in this program,
Yes, sir.
he used to make a lot of noise about holding the government to the fire. But I don't know for what reason, and I got my opinion, which I wouldn't discuss it. He suddenly had an offer and abandoned everything that he had in mind and pick up the offer. But I wanted to know if this thing got back into friends and family. Because let me tell you something, Leonard. You see, corruption is a venom, and it has robbed, it got thousands of people who just get robbed the rightful slice of bread. And something that I have noticed in this country that I could tell you for a fact, every single body that was a part of kickback money actually fit back in the same position. So it got me wondering now, wow, is this? And, for instance, this fellow, Datidin. I agree with Datidin not to give up his citizenship because this place is a frightening place. It matters not who now is government. These people like to see people suffering. Now look at COVID. COVID troublesome the promise of 25,000. Man, I'm speaking as a Guyanese. Why is it the government so long can't put system and structures in place that this 25,000 could distribute with speed? Or if not, you don't want to give out the money. Give out food stuff, give it out with speed. They got thousands of people that hungry. They got thousands of people that need the money. Who is it that they're going through that they cannot fast over this money? Good. I acknowledge you got $340 billion budget. Most of the money they're saying already spent. They acted that, right? Now, if you got the money at hand, you got free access to the consolidated fund and etc. What is taking you now as the government, knowing that you got the majority in parliament, what is taking you now, and you want to make younger voluntary workers to come to get this paperwork in place, get your footwork out, and start distributing food like you had in good day and night. Where's it taking them?
Yes, the bureaucracy is always something, and I hear what you're saying there. The bureaucracy is always something that is going to affect us. We really need some better systems in place. I agree with you on that.
And secondly, back to this thing with corruption. Corruption is a venom, and I'm telling you, I don't want to point out anything. For instance, I'm going to point out one. So as the government go into office, we see the road start painting immediately from up the East Bank. Halloween out, but we could live with it because it's the right time to start painting it. What I'm telling you is this: it didn't have to get no big approved for the work start, and I'm telling you, they got big kickback money in it.
Well, let us see what happens because as we said before, I think even all our people here, I saw something that's very, very strange, and I had a smile. They're not afraid to criticize their ministers now. People have been very critical. Even Mr. Robertson Benner's Home Affairs was very critical. They were very critical of him over the last couple of days with the handling of the Barbies thing. So it's good. I like to see things like this because it means that democracy is at work. We should be able to do that.
And look, I want to clear up one more thing. Look, let me, I'll give you one that got kicked back in it. The previous administration said, look, we don't want, there's a lot of money that's be spending on coffee. So they removed the team that used to remain it and was using the team that using public work workers. You know what to do? They remove back public works worker and bring back the independent contractor. I'm telling you, there is where corruption is venom, and there's so much. And that is why I wanted to see you to know what is it these people could offer you that you choose to abandon this nation. And that's what makes
I don't think that he abandoned, and maybe I could probably address that. When we started this program here, it was on election day, and then after the stuff continued after elections day, I was left stuck with it on elections day because I just came up and I said, nobody's doing it, let me take a hand in it. And that's how I got introduced in a bad way into radio. And the next day, we continued because the story developed. And by the time then, I brought on Yoga as a guest, and then he and I talked. He was never paid by this radio station or anything, and we did it free up to now. I'm a full time worker at the newspaper. I just come up here for 2 hours, then I got downstairs back, and that's how it's worked. But I'm not sure what it is. I know that being a board member at the Chronicle, because Yog has his own business, and so his wife who runs a business. I'm not saying this. I'm not even supposed to be discussing this, but I'm just telling you. But I don't think you get paid much to be a chairman of a Guyana Chronicle board. He's just a chairman there because you used to criticize him a lot. So I presume it was funny. I smiled when I heard that they put him there, and I don't think he was so very happy. But he's there, and I know he's going to do a fantastic job there. But it is what it is.
But prior to that, right
Uh-huh.
now, you see, when you went upstairs to the newsroom, I guess over the years, I mean, I don't know where you were before, but I guess over the years you in media and a part of broadcast, I think that in your vein. So you stepping upstairs there now and interacting with the public, like for instance, how you just be reading a lot of voice notes, a lot of text. In my opinion, you're getting to interact much more with people upon the short message and the lines. So that for me, that become the media and broadcasting. There's a part of your cells and blood and etc.
I presume. All right.
How how my friend Yo was beating this drum. I wanted to brace him in terms of dealing with corruption because
I think he's going to continue because we're not going to. I think even our good people here, whichever party that they're going to think, I know that they're very vocal in making sure that they voice the displeasure. So it's going to be interesting because you got to remember that the people that you have now is not the people that you had 20 years back. These are people that are, I think, they're more educated now. They're very much aware. So you're going to see an interesting thing come in here that this government is not can't drop the ball. Don't forget you have a young population who don't give a damn about Burnham and Cherry and people like that. They're interested in what can you do for me. That's what they're interested in. So it's going to be interesting to see going forward how we deal with it as a nation. But thank you very much, Carl. I got your point there, right? God bless you very much. Bye bye. So CARICOM General Insurance Limited, Inc. Sorry, a better value for better protection. Get your ship and cargo covered with us today. CARICOM General Insurance Company Inc. at 121 Regent and Arnock Street. To better serve you, you can now purchase your insurance online from the comfort of your home. Telephone 225-1787 or 269-0020. This is CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. And let's go very quickly to those text messages that has been coming in. I want to say good day to the folks right across Guyana who've been joining us on the Wake Up Guyana show and Kaieteur Radio. If you're in Barbies, Demerara, Essequibo, wherever you're joining us from, I hope that you're having a splendid day. It's Tuesday. It is October. Let me see. It's October the 6th. And guess what? Tomorrow happens to be the little one birthday. I'd have to do something for her. I think she's going to look forward to that. So I'm going to say be early birthday to my little one there. Ciara, how you doing, baby? I know that she registered yesterday for Bishop's High School. and so I'm looking forward to see how that goes. She missed the marks for QC by two, and Bishops is pretty good in its own. Has been one of the top schools of Guyana. So let's see how that happens. In the meantime, I want to say thank you very much to the folks overseas, Fort Island. How you guys doing? U.S., Canada, Europe, the Caribbean, St. Lucia, especially we have some people there joining us here day in, day out. We have Ken all the way from Europe also would have been with us day in and day out. Across the Caribbean here, we have also our neighbors, Suriname, Trinidad, Brazil, Venezuela, French Guyana, wherever you're coming into us here on the Wake Up Guyana show. You could also get us on Kaieteur Radio on Facebook or Kaieteur Radio live stream on YouTube. So, Raj, do we have another call on the line there? Yes. Good afternoon, caller. You on the air?
Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Go right ahead, sir.
I want to kind of agree with the fellow that just called. Two of us has been on this program a lot, and I don't know his name, but I know his who. But one of the things that we need in this country is not a temporary 592 or a temporary watch elimination that used to be election one. So in order for democracy to work, we needed people like Yog and you to constantly be doing this job and not be pulled in any direction. As long as you're working with government and you're a chairman of the board of anything for government, you cannot be objective. And that's why he's shocked, because I myself expected Mr. Yoke to be there throughout the next 5, 10 years. He got a business. He's not like me who got to do security and still do this. He's going to sit down there and do it. So we need people like that to keep holding all governments accountable, not temporary. That's why I personally do not like the union leaders in parliament.
Yes, that was a strange one. Yeah, you're talking about Gawu and a couple of them there.
Yeah, and Coretta McDonald and everybody. Point I'm making.
Yeah, that's a very strange one. For all my years, I thought, but there's a reason. I presume
But
that
you
that.
see, you and the team that you and Mr. Yoke formed and 592, we never got the idea that this is a temporary thing and y'all just visiting and they can slow it down and all these things. We thought y'all were here. We needed y'all. There's another set of you working with family of Quitchaloos and there. And then y'all just stopped. Now you there to Wake Up Guyana, but the force that you and Mr. Yoke bring, it's not you. You used to bring a balance. However, Mr. Yoke and everybody, Rag, you just come and balance, and the two of you together work very well. And for some of us who like to see those things, we missed you. I want to say, before I get to my point, thanks to Miss Teacher Stacey Gray from Margaret Primary School. She's been doing a wonderful, wonderful job at home. And as yesterday was Teachers Day, I just want to big her up for that.
Yeah, teachers, my favorite people.
Secondly, on that subject, it is foolish to hear, because I heard the same thing from the Vice President, that a house, there's no house in Guyana that has one family living in it. He probably barely here, or than those people who don't need it. Everybody is subsidizing. You can't go to one house and give one, and then you say you got to investigate it. You go to a big apartment building, you see 16 apartments, you telling me one per household, which is foolish, and that is foolish. The man made another point about the hampers. Look how long you can do all what you do. You say you put aside money for hampers, and the hampers can't meet the people yet because they're waiting to bring this thing for Christmas to look good. And that I don't care whoever in government, you're doing foolishness. Lastly, our police force has not upgraded. Now, if anybody's going to keep a protest, don't care where it is. Let's say it's use West Coast will be. Well, if we're going to get a protest, we need to see the elders who can oversee this protest and make sure that there are no robbers and criminals inside of the midst of all of this. Secondly, we are not doing investigations in this country. We everything. Look how many deaths we had over the years, and all of them is on top from Monica Lewinsky right down in Monica Reese right down to
yes.
And all we hear is because why? We have, and there's no disrespect to nobody, we have some of the most foolish people working in the police force.
You think so?
Limited education. When I say foolish, I mean limited education. To be a detective, you got to have to use some of your smarts. You got to be able to detect. This crime with these boys here, so in my mind, was very simple to start solving. And because you needed to go do a psychology and what kind of killer that was and so on and so forth. The point is, the police force is not, you know what they're good at? Traffic. Making a raise, and they're on the road to the speed, going hiding and pulling up and lock you up in Kaieteur court to collect a raise. That's what the police force is good at. And so the people in Barbados know the track record. I don't agree with what's happening, kicking people off the bikes and everything. But what are the police doing? Nothing.
Yes, and then we need to build capacity. Maybe, over the years, when you see how much money we waste in doing this and that, there could be so much more. We need to tighten our problem, and I guess I'll probably say that off the air
Yeah,
when you finish that.
and when you finish out too, when we
Yes.
come back down to it, when we look at all of these things, we have a NIS that is from the 70s. We have a police that operates in the 70s. We have a minister now running over the police that's telling the police, as far as I concern, somebody get him out, to stand up and see people getting beat and doing anything. What part of the world is that acceptable? But we are behind times because we're not upgrading it. Every political party that has run this country for the last 50 years have been controlling the police force with their political influence, whether we like it or not. And lastly, I would say this. If Mr. Glenlal ever sell out like Mr. Yog, I would done with Kaieteur because he's a good voice and I want you to stay in the voice there. And when I say Mr. Lal, I mean you too, because you're Mr. Lal's son as far as I know. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, yeah. Mr. Lal got a big son, if not nothing. I don't know. Wherever you are, Mr. Lal, a good day to Mr. Glenn Lal. He's a warrior, a very true warrior in whatever he does, and he doesn't give up. He could stand in a room and there's 20 persons in front of him and he fight everybody there. So, that's the gentleman that he is. That's the man that he is. I'm not sure what gentle is a word to describe. Would you say Mr. Lal is a gentleman, Raj? Raj says yes because Raj knows that there's his paymaster, but I would say no. He's not a gentleman. He is very straight up into your face, a very aggressive individual, and so, sir, I'm on vacation at the moment, so you can't penalize me. You could send me home, and I would love to go stay home for a couple of days. But he is indeed, jokes aside, Mr. Lal is very, very focused on making sure that we get a good deal in this country. Fantastic individual when it comes to ensuring that he has his eyes on the ball. So a good day and a good day to the team that he's been leading. Some very young reporters, very aggressive. I wish I had energy like them, and they're very sharp too. When you see people like them, our reporters that we have at Kaieteur asking the right questions and pointing out things, you're very proud, and it says, "Wow, these are the people, these are the young leaders that we have in Guyana that is shining the light on the issues that are affecting us." Before we go back to the line again, and that gentleman that does call, always on the ball when it comes to, of course, not saying or not allowing our authorities to just rest and say that you've been doing a good enough job. The police definitely, over the years, this is an old story. This is a story that has been coming up again whenever they solve a good crime, yes. But when you look at it, so many things are wrong with our police attitude. You could look at it right now in the various areas where the bars are, where the COVID-19, and know that somebody's getting paid off. There could be absolutely no other logical explanation that is gonna allow you to conclude anything else except somebody's being paid off. The bar is right in front of you. It's going past curfew. Women, everybody, men, everybody drinking there without the mask, and so you're not doing anything about it. What other conclusion could you make? In the meantime, the big news is that telecoms liberalization has been announced by the government. It means the way has been paved, all the laws passed, and the commencement order has been signed, which allows new companies to apply to be able to compete in the landline. So no longer it's about GT&T only, and they have run rampant on the people. They have put their knees on the neck of the Guyanese people. No more, and I say that without any fear of anything, because at the end of the day, we have to be able to call our people out whenever they don't deliver services or whenever there's serious injustice being done to our people. And what we would have seen from GT&T, it's not something that is good. We need companies that are going to come here and give us a very fair share, very fair services, because we deserve so much more. We are people too, and we pay good money for the services that we have. So in the meantime, let's go back to those messages that let me see what they're saying here. Um, Glad to hear that the monopoly of GT&T has finally been broken. I hope they now pull up the stocks. I agree 101% with what the last caller would have said there. Hi, good afternoon. Or people just want to get hold of us and just say good afternoon from time to time. We love you very much. So thank you very much. And somebody sent us something about KFC. The KFC provide 3,000 snack buckets for everyone. I'm not sure what that means. I don't need too much of fast foods. But in the meantime, let's go back. Hi, good afternoon. Let me see what they're saying here. Hi, good afternoon. Please shout out to the Auntie Lalita and Lumi from Luziknan Garment Factory. They really love your program. And if you listen to us there, Lalita and Lumi, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it, Lumi, I think it is. A good day to the Luziknan Garment Factory. Say they love us and they're locked into the Wake Up Guyana show here on Kaieteur Radio. And we love you guys too. We love all Guyanese. Not only that, we're people for all Guyanese here. I think Rad is shaking his head there. I don't know. Rad is a very strange fellow. He and I have been working for several weeks now. Not once did Raj come through the door bearing a box of good things like sweetmeats or anything. And I'm not sure. What is wrong with you, Raj? Are you okay? Have you been on the paid or something? I have to speak to Glenn about that. Let me see what it says here. And so I did say hello to Auntie Lalita there. Good afternoon, sir. You give the number that you give. No one is answering the phone. It's for three houses in Diamond Street. Could you give? Let me see this so she can call. We need transport. Let me see. I'm gonna send this. Let me see. Copy. 1 second. 1 second. All right. In the meantime, that could you go back to another call while we wait in there? Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, Leonard. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Go right ahead.
Yeah, first topic. Yes, I miss Yog. I miss Yog and you in the nights, but people got to understand Yog has to get on with his life. He can't be our keeper all the time when he got his own business to look after, and that's what people don't understand. That is one. Two, the nurses. I don't agree with they striking because they got to remember they have patients in the hospital who need them. Now, when you go there to be a nurse at the hospital, all their training is be free. They're always in classroom. Who paying for that? Them same people with any hospital, they tax paying for that. And you have to do a job that you love, not because they ain't got nothing else, you decide to be a nurse. You have to love nursing. You home, you're supposed to be home at least, but you like to do what you're doing, you're out. You have to be in a position, wherever you are, you have to love doing it. Mm-hmm. Right? That's what I believe. Now with these people on Barbies, I think it's getting ridiculous because if it's every 2 mornings, they can decide to block the road, trucks in coming down. I hear a man saying provision, everything, the thief in it. Like they become a norm so they could get food in their house. That's wrong.
Yeah, of course. So what you're saying there is right, quite right.
You know, so if they can decide to block the road for 2 days or 3 days, where trucks are coming down from Barbies to bring the provision or the groceries or whatever to town, and they're thieving it. So they don't have to work. They can stand up out there and do that and get food in the house. That is wrong. And I think the police should do something because I was watching this thing and I seen how these people, the police moving the rubbish off the road and they're throwing it back. And the police standing right there. I can't understand that.
Well, a lot of people couldn't understand it either. And so when you have things doing there, is it that they've shown incredible restraint, or is it that they don't want to do the job? We could make some conclusions here.
So why they didn't do all of that when they were throwing the people out to Ashmin, the diplomats out to Ashmin, and they went there with guns? Mm-hmm. Why they stand up to those people, the diplomats, and everybody else who was there that didn't have a firearm or a bottle to pell them or anything, and they were there with the guns to throw them out. Now these people are on the road. What are they doing? Mm-hmm. You understand? I can't understand. And I mean this man Roops and Ben, they really got he bad. But if he's not doing his job, well, you can't sorry for him.
I'm gonna give him a call this evening and ask him whether he wants to come on the program. I'm gonna ask him to do that because I you could only ask them if they come in, they come in.
Right, but This thing is getting out of hand. Every 2 mornings, now everybody complaining who ain't getting water, who ain't getting lights. It's only how many people there? Can't look after everybody one time. And as far as I'm concerned, I think Guyanese people, like they just want to throw back now. COVID is an excuse, and they want to get everything free. I am living in the scheme. I just hear a caller saying that every household got 2 and 3 families. That ain't true. I am living in a scheme. It's now rich people living in this scheme. And I was just looking to see which house got 2 families inside. I can't find none.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not a rich area. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So what he's saying, that makes sense. Yes, I know they got more than one because a lot of people like the son get married, they want the son stay. This body say they want to let go of these children. But not everybody's like that, and the people have to find out. Because if I have a son and he lives in somewhere, and I know they're sharing 25,000, I can go plant myself there, and then come back home here.
Right.
You understand? It takes time, and people have to understand, though. If the people didn't promise them 25,000, they're upon the air about 25,000, 25. Wait to start sharing.
I think I agree with you because when you're dealing with cash here, because you can't give the people checks because they mean they would have to go to the bank. Some areas won't have the thing, but there's an issue there, so you got to be very careful when you're walking around with this cash because these people are going there with the cash. Now imagine you got somebody that who might not be so honest and they're dealing with this cash here. I could call but 3 friends of mine that might not necessarily be part of a household, and a couple of us could have probably fixed this thing in such a way that people who are not eligible could get it. So all that we got to take into consideration. You got to deal with it. You got to deal with it.
Let me tell you something quick, Leonard. You remember, I could remember when this government was in before, and it started this $10,000 per child. I know mothers collect money. You think it's spent on them children?
Mm-hmm.
It's a spend on the children. It's spent on the self. Who won't go and do hair, go and do nails, go and do all kind of thing. They shouldn't be. I think they should put it in a way so these children can get a hot meal every day at school. Put the money somewhere that these children will get it. Give them books, give them the new uniform. Given the parents it won't be spending on children. Trust me.
And like this front page of the newspaper said today, we got to change our attitude, the way that we behave with different things. We can't expect, I mean, you expect your government to do certain things for you. But we got to get up and get to it. My mother used to tell me that you got to get up and get.
Here, my mother used to always say, manna don't fall from heaven. People got this way they saying, he provide for the birds and bees. No, he didn't show the worms in the nest, in the bird's nest. The worms are there, they have to go and look for it. So we have to look. We can't just sit down and wanting the government to do this and do that, and they can't afford to buy this and they can't afford to buy that. So what they do with the money before COVID?
Good question, Jackson. I don't know, but you've raised some very good points there, Colin. Let me tell you this. I love the way that you go about it, putting it in very simple language. It's not
everybody could understand.
Right, no, you're talking the normal language, and sometimes even in the newspaper here, Glenn would come down and say, look, you got to put in such simple language, this why them boys and everything has such a big impact on people, because when you could talk the language of the man, the simple man out there. You know, the simple man out there, the man in the university is going to appreciate it and understand it, and the man on the ground is going to understand it.
You know they got some people that ain't got no high school education, but they can carry on some conversation.
Because you got street smarts.
Some who went to UG.
Yes, you got street smarts.
They got road smart.
Yep.
And listeners, people who listen, could carry out a conversation, but they got people just talk. They ain't listening what people telling them. They ain't listening the news. They ain't listening nothing.
Well, let me tell you this. If I'm to have a little bush cook somewhere, and fry some plantain and some fish and some cook up in the corner there. I would like to have you on my team
I
there.
would love to be there. I was in Canada last year. And let me tell you something. One point, me and a woman nearly fall out. She just started to say, shoo, shoo, shoo. I telling people they cannot be living in Canada and the States and know what's going on in Guyana. Come back home.
You got to come back. And you know, a lot of people, I did receive a call from one of the biggest investor, one of the biggest businessmen in the region. You know how much interest that they got. People want to come back to Guyana, invest and all kind of thing. There's a lot of interest here right now.
Yeah, but there is a business. People by talking about these people who park themselves in these places, they ain't got no intention coming back home here. Some of them even want to let you know there's Guyanese. You understand? So, but they want to say what they think is right for we Guyanese.
Oh, we got plenty like that. We
So
got plenty
I-
like that. You meet them every day.
So one of them tell me, Paulie, you can campaign good. I said they pay me, I do so.
Got to bring you on to this radio program sometime when this COVID done. All right, my girl, you take care, right?
Okay, dear.
Thank you very much. Yeah. And that's a gaff lady. There's a gaff lady. If you don't know, I really liked the way that you know, we got some very warm people in this country here. Good day to you, Mr. W.R. Riaz. I hope that you're doing good. I just walked into the studio, and I know that probably he's going to talk about GT&T there. But let me, so that's a big news. But let me tell you this: we have some very warm people here. We have the best people in the entire region. We have the best people in the entire world when it comes to, you know, you might get one, two bad eggs, but every country got those bad eggs, like those idiots sung in Burpees there who believe that they could use an excuse for protesting, legitimate protesting, and say that, you know, that that's what we do and we're protesting for something, and therefore let us go ahead and do it and rob some people. And they believe that the entire Guyana is going to continue to tolerate that. Well, guess what? Your time has run out. The sands of time has run out there. What's happening, Riaz?
Nothing much, other than the big good afternoon to all the listeners and viewers. Well, other than the biggest 11 o'clock night news that we were expecting.
Yes, it came very late last night.
Yes,
it came on the. I'm not
it's
sure whether
fine.
Mark Phillips decided to do it on his birthday day. He was a birthday boy yesterday.
He was a birthday boy yesterday.
So he decided, and I think he had a good
Honorable Prime Minister,
birthday. Let me
happy
tell you
birthday.
this, and that people don't understand when you have internet across this country, it improves communication. You could be
You
in,
see-
in the hinterland there, and you could have
Yes.
a medical issue, a snake could bite you, and a doctor could be out here and say, look, tie it in such a way,
I-
hot a knife, stick it
Yeah.
into the wound there, dig it out.
I'm
getting
I've seen
overboard
I've seen
here.
a lot of persons saying, so we're going to get landline. Let us not look at landline, everyone. Let us look at beyond that.
Of course.
You don't need, by the time
You don't
it's
need a
all done,
landline.
exactly. You don't need a landline. I mean, e-networks have already started doing fiber optic as it is. But what will happen is that the need for a landline will not be there. The lowering of rates and the better data will be more affordable. This is our perception. It'll be more affordable for Guyanese as it is. So that's a welcome initiative. I gotta compliment the government on that. They said that they will be doing that. We've started seeing this. Another thing that makes the big news. Well, I walked in the studio and took off my mask. I hope that I don't get liberalized as President Trump. But as I don't have COVID, so that's a good thing.
He's a bad man. Within 2
That's
days,
been the
bad man.
big. Last night I spent about 6 hours looking at CNN, BBC, ABC, NBC, Fox News.
Yes.
Strange enough, Fox News, though they didn't say, well, Mr. President, you did wrong thing, they're pretty much
No, because you
saying
can't go.
it
There's an accepted time
I heard
frame.
the Dr. Fauci last night, not on the political side, but Dr. Fauci said that, you know, it should have not happened. It shouldn't go down that way altogether. It's a great concern. It's a great concern. Yes, the president of the U.S. will have a different style of treatment. We've heard that altogether, but still, it was a bit risky. Everyone is saying, Dr. Fauci is even saying that he will be much more comfortable after next Monday. as in Monday coming.
No, you can't just take off and says everything. It doesn't happen that way. We be not even sure. This thing
Right.
has been mutating and doing all kind of
Yeah,
nonsense.
so
Well, let's see what
it's
happens.
that's been the biggest international news last evening, and went global. That's a great concern for everyone as well.
But I wish Trump, Mr. Donald Trump, President Donald Trump of the United States, all the best,
Yeah,
and
we
I hope
wish him
that.
all the best for a speedy
But
recovery.
but you're
I
an
hope
idiot, sir. So I'm to say
I
that. So,
hope I saw Mr. Leonard downstairs. I was going to rub him a little bit, but I was sorting for something in my car. And by the time I
yeah,
look
yeah.
back, he
Go
like
on.
like a ninja, like a zoop.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He
But
disappeared.
no, no. But I wish him all the best.
I
I hope
wish him
he
all the
recovers.
best, but I hope that
You need to face it.
know,
You need to do something, and you need to be smarter than that. That is a very stupid thing that you did there. But there's a caller online. Let's go quickly. We have some callers. Good afternoon, caller. You in the air? Go right ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie. Good afternoon, Mr. Riyad.
good
Yes.
afternoon. Good
I'm
afternoon.
calling about the street in James Street. The street James Street in our boys' town.
Yes, sir.
Because during the campaign, there was part of the campaign that it should be done. Now the people that are in that need to do it. I was in a back road bus.
Uh-huh.
I'm glad if you can get some attention there because it's just as it was before. And the people that are in. I know you got to wait a little bit, but I just want to highlight it because it was being highlighted during the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it, sir.
All right.
Thank you very much.
I could
sir.
answer that gentleman a little
Sure.
bit. I've heard him. I did heard in the line by line that from where it would, which this street don't have a name that would want. He wants to name it the Dharamlal, the Nigel Dharamlal Street. So this will come from South Roimveld and take that entire area getting into Alboystown with some construction work, road works. This is I heard this piece on a line by line. I don't know when it's gonna start. I don't know, but at least I could just adhere to that piece of that gentleman of his concern. So I heard that little piece in. This is you need to pay attention to Parliament. I don't know when it will start. Just like how I want back road to start because they get some sharp holes there. I'm waiting just like you as well. Because one day one of my vehicle, a old car, blew out a tire safely. Nothing happened. I reached home, but the tire damage. I had to buy it back. No one did. So I need the road to fix, just like that caller too. Yep.
And somebody is saying here, why don't you guys invite the father of the Henry boys on the show and have him express his views on the Burmese protests? The protesters say that their family, not true. The father says, I think, let me see what the father says. The father is a reasonable man with modest views. Please get Mr. Henry on the show. Thank you, watching from Florida. Thank you very much, there, Joyce Seach, and wherever you're joining us from. Yes, Mr. Trump, I wish Mr. Trump and his wife all the best. We want them to recover. We don't wish anybody bad when it comes to health.
Nope.
But it doesn't mean that you're not an idiot. You're an idiot when you do that, especially when you are going to deliberately, maybe from an ignorant perspective or otherwise, that you're going to put people at risk, and especially the people around you. I see another idiot in Guyana which says that 40 persons tested positive with the GPH. See what that opposition idiot says. Did not say that it was 40 persons who would have tested positive from March to now. And so you're going to be very careful when you're sharing news. You're going to be very factual if you're not very clear. Make sure people understand this thing is unverified. I can't tell you what it is, but what I can tell you is that this is the information that we have so far. But for me to be deliberately, if I tell you 40% tested positive, is as if within yesterday and today they test them or the last couple of days, and 40 persons at the hospital. Or if I tell you there's a story that at the Woodlands Hospital, 40 nurses and doctors tested positive. What am I saying to you? But that could have been over the last couple months. So that's a different news. So when you have people, especially those parliamentarians that are sitting there sharing fake news, well, you're a special kind of idiot too, sir. So let's get it right. It's an idiot day.
I was about to say that.
Yes, yes. Well, you know, you got to be very careful. You got to be responsible. And when I see things like that, it gets me angry because you're doing something that is not, you know, you're not uplifting our people. You got to uplift the people, encourage them, let them do better. And as a matter of fact, as we on that yesterday was a pleasant surprise, Riaz.
What's happened?
I was going along Diamond Road. I was going home. Wife calls, please buy some bhaji. So I said, wow. Buy some Edo too. And could you buy some tomatoes? So I said, okay, I might as well go to the border. So I stopped by the roadside stand that is in Diamond there. And the lady says, Oh, I was looking for you for a very long time. I wanted to meet you, Mr. Gildarie. Let me tell you this. She bring out your daughter. She bring out the man. The man says, I said, how much is this? How much is that? The man says, 600 something. That's pretty cheap. I don't have any idea what prices are. And he says, look, I'm giving you this bag here. You're not paying for the thing. I said, no, no, I have to pay for it. No, no, you're not paying for it. So then the lady brings out her daughter and the rest of a whole bunch of people came out. They wanted to meet this Gildarie. They see the face and they say, well, I'm related to CN Sharma, some family. So I want to say a good day to those folks down in the Diamond Public Road there,
Kind
to
folks.
those good folks that were selling those greens, nice fresh greens there. They're just next door to the Chinese supermarket, one of them there. And so you got very warm people in our country. And I want to say
We
thank you
do.
very much for making me feel warm. I still owe you a couple $100. I don't want you to give me things free before Glendale get to hear with it. And then Glendale, so you taking bribes there now, man? And so I got to be very careful. Got to be very careful with that. But those people are very good. And by the way, it made some good soup. I had some nice soup last night.
I was
So,
getting to that to know
right.
what you were doing with the greens, but now you
Yes.
answer the question
Yes.
as
It's
well.
nice soup with fish and so.
Oh,
But
good, good,
good
good, good.
afternoon to our caller there again. Good afternoon, caller. You on the air?
Yes, dear. Good afternoon.
Good
Good
afternoon, my dear.
afternoon.
I would like to talk. Matter of fact, I would like to raise this problem with these Chinese supermarkets, even the Chinese stores, and it's very unfair to Guyanese people. If you go to purchase anything, let's say the supermarket, you carry your stuff to the counter, and I know because personally I get robbed at $20, $100. You see the price on the shelf, you take it up, and you go to the cashier, and then next thing you know, they punch in the calculator, blah blah blah. They said so much, but when you move off from there and you check your change, it's short either $20, $40, $100. They don't issue bills. No supermarket, the Chinese one especially on the East Coast, they don't issue bills. Now these stores in Georgetown, some of the Chinese stores, almost all of them, you go to purchase a pants, a dress, a shirt, whatever. They do not have a dressing room. If you ask them, can I try this thing on? They said no. No. And they don't give you a bill and you can't bring back the item. How fair is that to people?
But I don't know how fair it is. I think it's next to illegal. And I think the consumer, these are, we'll have to bring the consumer and competitive competition folks here. I think there is a former magistrate, and my dear friend that would be part of that. It's the former GT&T official, Mr. Holder, daughter, Don Holder, I think it is. Then these folks have been doing a lot of stuff when it comes to your rights as a consumer. I think Pat Dial is another one writing with it. You have to bring them and start talking about these things.
But you understand what I'm saying? You know it is true. It's happening.
Right.
It's happening because even in look, some of them underpaid, these girls that working with them. They're being underpaid, and the hurtful thing is they don't issue a bill because they're so cheating that you cannot trust them to take the value at the word. And when you get check, you check if a man knock 100 customers.
Well, why are you shopping there? Why can't you shop somewhere else?
Almost all the Chinese is the same.
Same thing. All right.
Yes.
I know there's plenty of them in Diamond there. I kind of not go into to a lot of them.
A lot
anyway,
you
yeah.
go in some of the stores in Georgetown
Right, right.
and shop there, especially that's selling clothes and stuff. The supermarket, they all have some, I don't know, but I wish if somebody could look in.
I definitely we'd start looking because when you talk about receipts and things like that, there's an age-old problem because when you go there and they don't issue receipts and so just take a bag and whatever it is, you take the cash and you can imagine what happens there.
Yeah.
There's one of the biggest restaurants that is in Guyana that's owned by a foreigner. You got to listen to me carefully. It's owned by a foreigner. And those people have been here for years, and it's one of the biggest restaurants. And they don't own a property, they don't own anything. They rent from you, and they pay millions of dollars to rent per month. You could probably guess who that is. So when you don't own anything, what is it that you're doing here? You can pick up your bag tomorrow morning and leave.
Leave, yes.
So it makes you think differently. What is it that you provide into this nation? Is it that you want to take all the time? And the big question that is on the table here, what is our government doing about it? What is the authorities doing about it? What is the inspectors, what are they doing about that? Can they walk into the store and says, you need to do inspections, in America, if you down Jamaica Avenue or something, and Glenn was telling us a story. He has a store up, he had a store there, and they boarded it up, and they were doing some works inside, and the inspector passed, and the inspector said, "What are you doing there?" He said, "We're doing we're doing some retrofitting and so on." He says, "Do you have a permit for that?" No. The place closed down for 6 months
Well, look
after
at
that.
that.
Now that it gives you an idea how these people operate, and you have to start operating that do or die instead of you
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
bribe. Because when these guys come, you have a permit. No.
Hmm.
Well, what we can do about it, and they're stretching out their hands. You understand?
Yeah, but I wish if somebody could look into it because
I'm gonna have to bring on the experts and let them talk about it because I'm not sure what is the procedure on the certain amounts like $15 million a turnover and things like that. You don't have to do VAT remittances to GRA. There's a whole bunch of things that could be done then, so you could fall under the radar for that. But I thank you very much for that. I'm gonna raise
yes,
that.
and I'm talking about VAT. I thought that when this government would have finished at least the first 3 months in office or something, as rightly budgeted pass and say this drop, that drop, that drop. But do you realize when you go in the shop things raise?
Everything raised. Eggs is $1,100. Everything
So
raised.
how if it's like
You
supposed
can't
to
you
be?
can't control what the government can control. They can control things like oil, like if you bring diesel or gas into the country, because you pay a 50% tax on that. When you buy it at the pumps at the gas station, you pay a 50% tax on that. At least it's about that much. So you could control a couple of things, but you can't control if the prices come in and the
Okay,
prices are high.
down to sugar. We supposed to be making sugar here.
That was
Down
not a
to sugar.
story, Auntie. Well, you got
Sugar.
we
We're
produce
not
we,
making
we
right
barely
now.
producing to fulfill the market outside. I think we might have to start bringing sugar if you don't think because we barely producing to supply the market overseas, and I don't think we supplying enough.
I know. Okay then. Have a good evening.
Good day to
Bye.
you.
Well,
Good day, ma'am.
I know gas price went down a little bit. Well,
That's
at
about ten
least,
dollars or so
yeah.
thereabouts.
But
But it's gonna.
but $10 is good in terms of, well, I didn't see the reflection on the private stations as yet.
I think they sell out the
Or
old stocks or something before they bring
yeah,
it
I
out.
would want to think so, but I did saw the release a couple days ago that the Guy oil, which was like about $10 down. Every dollars, every dollar counts at the end of the day,
Absolutely,
right?
dear.
Yep, every
Absolutely.
dollar counts at the end of the day. Adds up to the extra mile on your car or your vehicle altogether. So that's a good start for sure. Hope it stays down a little bit.
Yep. So very quickly to some thing. Good day, I'm a pensioner. This is a 12-day treated water wasting at Frank Street. Frank Street, Stuartville, West Coast, Demerara. I called GWI several times. Whole night and day is disturbing. I have no water service. Let me send this right away to the good minister. I know that they always look forward to this, the people calling them and sending them texts. And let me see, make sure that I got it. Okay. Got that. I'm going to send it to that. The people complain about wastage of water. Do we have another caller on the line? Good afternoon, caller, you on the air? Yes, good afternoon, caller, you on the air? I think we would have missed that call there. 6222222. Send those messages to us at Kaieteur Radio here. We're in the Wake Up Guyana show with your host, Leonard Gildarie. And of course, we have, as usual, WRE has taken time out. He's about to do his show, and you can look forward to some good music and chats from him. He's been talking a lot, doing a lot over the years. A little boy that I saw grow up, he's no longer a little boy, and he's involved with so many things. And I want to tell you that you have been doing a lot of things in the entertainment field. Riaz, he's
Yeah,
also,
we miss the entertainment
yeah.
as it is, but it
Let's see what
the
happens.
the strides continue.
Right.
There is some talks of another virtual event. I can't say much on it as yet because it's just in the embryo stage.
So I'm not going to
But
ask
very
you what the
soon.
virtual event is, so don't even mention it to me. Is there not a caller on the line there, Raj? Yes, good afternoon, caller. Good afternoon, caller. How are you?
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon. Go right ahead.
Okay, I call in to just have a little advice because I'm living in hostel in New Scheme, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hostel in New Scheme, all right?
Mm-hmm.
This not have a name, okay? And opposite me have a vacant lot. For 4 years now I'm living here, right? And right now the bush is like about 7 feet high. Nobody ever come and read it or such, right? So I'd like to know how could I make a complaint for the minister to know if it's vacant or what that they could see someone to come and move
Falls
on.
under the NDC.
Mm-hmm. NDC, Horstellin there, Horstellin, that falls under Romel Roepnerijn. Is
Yes, sir.
Romel Roepnerijn the chairperson for that NDC there?
Yes, sir.
Did you try to reach out to him?
No, no, sir. Okay, so
I
I
think
have
you
to reach
could.
out to him and let
Yeah,
him
reach
know.
out to him and let maybe tell him that look, we don't have a clue. Could you give us some advice how we move forward on this, and maybe we could point you in the right direction. This is how the conversation starts, and then maybe he's a very helpful fellow. Say that you've spoken to me, to Kaieteur Radio, and we've advised you such.
Okay, sir.
God
Thank you.
bless you. So good day to the good folks down there in Herstellin Prospect Farm. There's a big area at the back there that's come up a housing scheme. And I know many people have been without the proper infrastructure there started living. Let us hope. I think the government is working on that. We're going to continue to pay attention. Let's hear your complaints because this is the Wake Up Guyana show, and this is where you put your complaints to, so we can be able to put it out to the people that are out there. So it's a little wet out there. Was it raining when you
It
came?
wasn't. It wasn't raining when I came. It rained earlier, but
Oh,
it's a bit overcast.
yeah. Let's see
Yeah,
what
a bit
happens.
overcast when I came in.
Yes, let's see what happens. So we come back. We have like about 5 minutes there. About let's take some quick calls there. Good afternoon, caller. You on the air? I think we missed that one there. So very quickly, I think it was a very good day. It is a very good day. There's going to be some very happy people who have been locked into Kaieteur Radio on the Wake Up Guyana show. And I'm going to say anything about that, but we're going to see how they're going to be very happy. Good afternoon,
Definitely.
Leonard. There's a widow woman
Like
also
Christmas come
disabled,
early.
not. Huh?
Christmas come early, Raj.
It looked like Christmas come
Christmas
already,
come
but you
early.
want to ask me what my business. I'm not going to tell you what my
Tell us
business.
about your business.
No.
Other than we all know that your daughter birthday tomorrow. You're planning to bake a cake for her. You're buying a gift for her. I hope she's listening. And you're buying a new outfit for her as well. Other than that, you didn't say it, but you mean that. What, Chris? How did Christmas come early? Did you
Well,
get bonus?
it could be a
Did
variety of things. It could be that
did Mr. Lal give you a bonus for
no,
a vacation bonus?
Raj is asking for a raise on behalf of all the good staffers of Kaieteur
I would
News.
support Raj to getting a raise. So, Mr. Lal, I put my name down on the list endorsing Raj to get a raise.
And there's a question here from a widow.
You're still an answer me question, but all right.
This is a question here from a widow, and the widow is saying, Leonard, there's a widow woman also disabled, not entitled to get public assistance. I think so. I think your circumstances has a lot to do with public assistance here. And so maybe you need to reach out to me, ma'am, and you probably need to tell me a little more about what the situation is. But what I would suggest that you do, because we have a very good minister there at the Human Services, always there when you reach out to her and say, look, XYZ. She said, right away, Gildarie, yes, I'm going to get on that. And she's always very engaging, and she's no other than Dr. Vindhya Prasad. A good day to you, ma'am. I hope that you've been having a productive day. We look forward to you doing your job, and we are going to torment you from time to time because a lot of people may be reaching out. And so if you have some questions as to whether you're eligible about any kind of public assistance, it is the Ministry of Human Services there on Lamaha Street next door to the Cancer Institute and right next door to the Guyana Lottery Company. So you could go there and you could maybe ask them or call them, check a directory, get a number for them, and you could probably be able to raise the questions to them.
Raj, did he win the lotto?
Yes, it looks a lotto.
Did he win the lotto? Because he talking Christmas, something special, and then he happens to mention where the lotto office is next to,
No, it's
to
just
the ministry.
it's just incidental there. So
Incidental.
it's just incidental.
Alright.
So the big news is, let us go right back as we come to the wind down the Wake Up Guyana show here on Kaieteur Radio. It is the telecoms liberalization. Big news here. For me, this is one of the biggest news in addition to the oil. Every single day, we're not going to stop with the oil. Reform in Guyana's labor laws is long overdue. This is Kaieteur News front page. There's a commentary. I kept this back for last because I very quickly want to tell you about that. if the people want to shut you up, there's an old libel law that anybody could go to the court and say that I believe that Riaz wrote something about me in the paper, and the court could grant what you call a temporary injunction, stop you from talking about that, about maybe an incident. If you've stolen something, stop you from talking until the case is heard and determined in court. And so those laws, I think the Caribbean and the Caribbean media workers and so have been moving to have Guyana and a number of territories lift those laws. It's ancient. It is it's a knee on the neck of the Guyanese people, and of course a knee on the neck of the media world in Guyana, especially if you print like newspaper. Anybody that you criticize could take you to court for libel and maybe get a temporary injunction and stop you. And this commentary here is basically saying that, look, we need to fix that, we need to reform it, we need to get it out, because it's ancient, it's archaic, and in any case, those were for the days when you had government who believed that they were dictators. We're not in a dictatorship at the moment.
Definitely
So
not.
that is where we're at. And so we've come down to where we have to say goodbye, unfortunately. What I'm going to do before the week is out, I'm going to bring on a gentleman. Those on the west side, I know that we have many listeners and callers and everybody on the west side, West Demerara area. There's a gentleman there. No other than the commander. What's his name again?
Commander Watts.
Commander Errol Watts,
Errol
my
Watts.
good friend. I did talk to him, and he says, Gildarie, just give me a few hours' notice. I'm going to be there with you. So good day to the folks across there. We intend to hold your feet to the fire, Mr. Watts. So when you're here, don't expect it to be very easy. Well, you're my friend at the end of the day. So we're going to bring you on and ask you how things are going on across there.
Raj,
In the
that day
meantime,
I'm
keep the
coming
good
early.
works up. A lot of
That
people...
day,
a lot
that
of
day I'm
people-
coming early to
Yeah.
deal with Mr. Watts as well.
A lot of people have been giving kudos to Mr. Watts there across there and his team that has been doing a fantastic work of shutting down the bars, of ensuring that the minibuses are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Keep up your work. We need to protect our people. We need to see this COVID-19 over with and done very quickly. So in the meantime, this is the Wake Up Guyana show. Leonard Gildarie, we say goodbye now. You can get a view of it on Kaieteur Radio on Facebook, or Kaieteur Radio live stream on YouTube. And we would have been coming to you from our studio here in Charlestown. This is Saffron Street, 99.1, and this is in Esquimalt and Demerara, 99.5 in Berbice. And today's look like a tongue twister kind of day, getting myself all very confused there. Anything that you want to say there very quickly, WRES?
Stay safe. Don't take anything for granted.
Yes.
We've been seeing a lot of public announcements and messages being circulating about COVID between these times, and I would echo the same sentiments to be safe, but of course take your supplements, do some light workout, free hand exercises to keep your immune system strong at the same time, because this is something that is going to be around for a little while, and we'll have to understand how to live with it before we could go back to full normalcy that we are accustomed to in 2019.
Yes, very good. And thank you. Just before you say goodbye, Patricia Ganraj is asking, my daughter has a problem at the Chedijagan International Airport with her bags. The problem is in the hands of the police. Which minister do I write to regarding the airport problem? Please, you can write 2 ministers or 3 ministers. One is Robertson Ben, Minister of Home Affairs. You could also write Juan Edgel, Minister of Public Works, or Minister within the Ministry of Public Works. Deal that in there. You have 3 of them, or you could write one of them and copy it to the rest of them. It doesn't matter, but those are the 3 that this matter here, based on what you're saying there, would affect them. So thank you very much, and do have a pleasant rest of the day all. Thank you, Raj. Thank you, WRES.
Tropical delight, the flavor tasting right, pure taste and pure delight. Orange, apple, cranberry, fruit punch, mango, yes sir, high in energy. Jumping up every day, and I jumping up every night. I think it's back and it's pure taste, pure delight. Energy to unload, behind a truck down the road, the taste going to explode. Tropical delight, pure taste. Tropical delight, pure taste and pure delight.
Kaieteur Radio.
Covering Guyana from coast to coast.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.